Their love grew stronger with each passing day. Eo made it a habit to come home early, often surprising Bidemi with thoughtful gifts, her favorite snacks, a bouquet of fresh flowers, or a handwritten note filled with sweet words. In return, Bidemi prepared his favorite meals, and creating a home filled with warmth and love. Even the village elders couldn't help but notice Eo's newfound glow, often commenting on how Bidemi has brought Eo good fortune, and it seemed true. Eo's business continued to flourish, and the couple soon began making plans to start a family. Meanwhile, Mama Tinu reveled in her daughter's success. She dressed in her finest attire, a royal blue lace gown decorated with intricate gold designs that shimmered under the sunlight. Her matching gele was tied high and perfectly styled, commanding attention wherever she went. Around her neck, she wore a heavy beaded necklace, and her wrists jingled with golden bangles that clinked together as she gestured proudly. Mama Tinu made sure everyone noticed her, as she basked in the glory of her daughter's happiness. Mama Tinu's gold shoes, adorned with tiny sparkling rhinestones, tapped confidently on the ground as she walked proudly through the village. Her luxurious handbag swinging in her hands, as if it held all the secrets to her success. Her voice was loud and sharp, cutting through the air and demanding attention. "Oh, my Bidemi! My golden daughter," she exclaimed with pride. "How many of you can say your daughters married a man as successful as my son-in-law? Eo is not just wealthy, he worships her. Have you seen their house? Even governors envy them." She added some lies to make her point even stronger and peppering her friends with envy. She glanced at the women around her, smirking as they tried to hide their irritation. Any attempt to interrupt her was waved off with a dismissive hand. "It's not by sending your daughters to school, oh. Look at Mama Shola's child, still roaming about jobless. And Mama Chioma's daughter. Huh. She's 30, still single and searching for a husband." Mama Tinu threw her head back and laughed heartily, her comments carefully crafted to sting just enough. She enjoyed the discomfort of her friends, basking in their attention and her imagined authority. As Mama Tinu strolled through the market square, women stopped her eagerly to offer their congratulations. "Mama Bidemi, you are truly blessed," one woman said, clasping her hands together. "Oh, my sister, what can I say? God has buttered my bread," Mama Tinu replied, feigning humility while her face glowed with pride. She straightened her back and stood taller as more women gathered around her, admiring her elegant attire and asking about Bidemi's new life. But not everyone shared in her joy. Some women, sitting quietly at their market stalls, exchanged knowing glances and muttered under their breaths. "Look at her, showing off as if her daughter is the only one to marry well," one said with a sneer. Another added, "Let's hope this pride doesn't lead to a fall." Mama Tinu, however, paid no attention to the whispers. As she confidently said, her voice ringing out like the beat of a drum, "When your daughter brings you joy, you don't hide it. My Bidemi is everything a mother could ask for, intelligent, beautiful, and married to a man who knows her worth. What about yours?" She smirked as she spoke, her words sharp and deliberate, cutting through the air like a blade. The jealousy in some women's eyes was unmistakable, while others secretly admired her confidence and wished they could share in such blessings. Mama Tinu enjoyed every moment, basking in her self-imposed glory, never suspecting the envy and resentment her words were planting in the hearts of those around her. The sun set on a warm evening, and the comforting aroma of freshly cooked meat broth filled the house. Bidemi stood in the kitchen, humming happily as she prepared ingredients for dinner. Despite being pregnant, she insisted on cooking for Eo, seeing it as her way of showing love and care. Eo had tried to convince her to rest. "Let the maids handle it," he told her countless times. But Bidemi always refused. "I want to cook for you. It makes me happy," she'd reply with a warm smile, playfully patting his cheek. "And, besides, I don't want anyone else stealing my place in your heart with their food. Eo laughed, shaking his head. No one can take your place, Bidemi. You are my everything. Bidemi was preparing a special dinner, Eo's favorite meal, egusi soup and pounded yam, when disaster struck. She reached for the blender on the upper shelf to blend some peppers, but in her haste, it slipped from her hands and crashed to the floor. Pieces of glass and plastic scattered everywhere. Oh no, she said, her heart sinking as she stared at the mess. She couldn't let this ruin the meal. It has to be ready before Eo get back. Her eyes scanned the kitchen in desperation, and then they landed on the mortar sitting in the corner, gathering dust. She smiled to herself and thought, why not? It's old-fashioned, but it works, and I'll still need it to pound the yam anyway. With newfound determination, she dusted off the mortar and began grinding the peppers the traditional way, her hands pounding as she embraced the simplicity of it. The rhythmic motion of her hands seemed to calm her as she walked, the wooden pestle striking the mortar with a satisfying thud. Unbeknownst to her, at the same time far away in a secret, dark room filled with charms and red candles, another woman was also pounding a larger mortar. This one was filled with blood, and as she pounded it, she murmured incantations under her breath. She had been waiting for this moment. Bidemi continued to pound, and soon the air was filled with the fresh scent of ground pepper. But as she finished, she suddenly felt an odd sensation in her chest, a tightness that made her stop. Her breath became shallow, and a wave of dizziness washed over her. She shook her head, trying to brush it off. It's just the pregnancy, she told herself. I'm just tired, she thought, hoping to ignore the unsettling feeling creeping inside her. When Eo arrived home that evening, something felt off. He entered the house